The snow in Minneapolis doesn't just cover the ground. In January, it muffles the sound of the city. On the morning of January 7, 2026, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good was driving through the quiet streets of South Minneapolis. She was a mother of three, a wife, and a poet. She had just finished a graduate degree in creative writing. Earlier that morning, she had done what millions of American parents do. She dropped her 6-year-old son off at school. She didn't know that 10 minutes later, she would be at the center of a national firestorm. She didn't know that by noon, the President of the United States would be calling her a domestic terrorist. As Renee drove home with her partner, she turned onto Portland Avenue. The street was blocked. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, was conducting a targeted raid in the neighborhood. Renee's maroon Honda Pilot came to a stop. What happens next is a blur of conflicting stories. Eyewitnesses say the scene was calm. Renee wasn't a fugitive. She wasn't a target of the raid. She was a U.S. citizen simply trying to navigate a blocked street. Bystander footage shows a federal agent approaching her window. He is yelling. He reaches for the door handle. In the video, Renee appears confused, perhaps frightened. She says, "That's fine, dude, I'm not mad at you." Then her car begins to roll forward. In a split second, 3 pops ring out. Pop, pop, pop. The officer fires at point-blank range through the driver's side window. Renee's car veers off, crashing into a utility pole. The silence of the snowy morning is gone. This is where the story takes a turn that has haunted the American public. As Renee lay dying in the front seat, a neighbor, a trained physician, ran toward the car. He identified himself as a doctor. He begged the agents to let him check her pulse. He begged to provide aid. The response from the agent was 4 words: "I don't care." For nearly 10 minutes while federal agents stood by, medical aid was reportedly blocked. When paramedics finally arrived, it was too late. Renee Nicole Good was pronounced dead at the scene. Inside her car, hanging from the glove compartment, were her children's stuffed animals. Within hours, a war of words began. The Department of Homeland Security released a statement. They claimed the agent acted in self-defense against a domestic terrorist who used her vehicle as a weapon. They claimed an officer was critically injured, though video footage showed the agent who fired the shots walking away and reholstering his weapon. On social media, the president labeled Renee a professional agitator. But her family tells a different story. They describe a woman who won prizes for her poetry, a woman who loved messy art with her kids and was a devoted Christian. Her mother, Donna Ganger, said Renee was made of sunshine. She had no criminal record, no history of violence. She was a poet who found beauty in things as small as the hairy legs of cockroaches. Today, the FBI has taken over the investigation. The local Minneapolis police have been shut out. The mayor of Minneapolis has called the federal narrative garbage. We are left with a massive void. How does a routine morning for stay-at-home mom end in a fatal shooting by federal agents? Why was a doctor refused the right to save a life? In one of Renee's award-winning poems, she wrote about the tension between faith and scientific knowledge. She wrote about wanting back her rocking chairs and sunsets. Now her 3 children are left without their mother. And the city of Minneapolis is left with a memorial on Portland Avenue, wondering if the lines between law enforcement and tragedy have become permanently blurred. Renee Nicole Good wasn't a name the world knew on January 6th. On January 7th, she became a symbol of a nation's deepest fears. Whether she was a threat or a victim depends on which version of the story you believe. But as the snow continues to fall in Minneapolis, one fact remains undisputed. A mother went to drop her son at school and she never came home. I can't stop thinking about this story. What do you think really happened in those 60 seconds? Let's talk about it in the comments.